So let's go through the rapid fire news here. XRP joins corporate treasuries now. As you know, Bitcoin treasuries are popular. Ethereum treasuries are popular. Well, Hyperbit just became the latest public company to quietly accumulate XRP. Documented, verified, the shift is real. So this is very exciting now. They did buy Hype, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, USDC, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Cardano for their treasury in their company. Very smart move, actually, to be diversified as far as that goes. Now, another thing that I wanted to show you guys, and we tell you to pay attention to this, what you need to do is go follow Whale Alert. Now, what you're going to look for is a specific post, because they post a lot of stuff about transferring here and transferring there. But what you want to see is right here. USDT minted at Tether Treasury, because when Tether is minting new USDT, that means new volume is coming into the Bitcoin markets, and there's going to be a pump for Bitcoin. Now, what's really interesting right here is you can see this post came out after another one that came out a little while earlier. So that's why I tagged. I was like, oh my gosh, this is $2 billion getting printed yesterday at the Tether headquarters. You need to pay attention to Bitcoin. And sure enough, markets are rallying.
Nick here. Quick heads up for all you smart investors watching this. If you love to see your crypto actually working for you, earning passive income every single day on your coins, we're putting together something really cool. On July 20th, we're running our first ever free online event challenge. It's called the Crypto Passive Cash Flow Challenge. And it's basically 3 days where you'll learn our DeFi strategies we use to safely earn passive yield on our coins 24/7, even while we sleep. And some people are doing crazy numbers with this strategy alone. And if you had some coins that you're just holding on to, you should join us and discover how to put them to work. We've never done anything like this publicly before, and we probably won't ever do it again. So it's completely free, but we might have to limit spots to keep the quality high and give everyone proper attention with the size of our YouTube channel, over 360,000 subscribers now. So if you want in, just click the link below this video, grab your spot while you can. And now back to the video.
Also, just in, Federal Reserve Bostic says he would hold off on cutting rates now. Now, Bostic was the guy who said that he was actually for getting a rate cut in July, which we obviously know is not going to happen because it's come and gone. But then there's also rate cuts coming in September. Well, Bostic is now backtracking on the fact that he wanted to rate cut in December. This is not very exciting as far as the world economy goes. The United States does have too high of interest rates right now. The Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell's taking out his anger on Donald Trump through the American people by not lowering the interest rates, which is such a brutal blow to us. We should have easier ways to buy houses. We should have easier ways to get affordable car loans, but we can't because of the feud with Donald and Jerome. But unfortunately, it looks like we may not even be getting interest rates reduction in September, because this just happened yesterday, pivot. But in reality, there was this huge push. Everyone was agreeing. It was like an 80+%. It was going to happen in September, but they may be backtracking. So we'll pay close attention to that. Make sure you subscribe so we'll get that updated for you. And speaking of treasury companies, top 10 companies now holding $1.6 million worth of ETH, $5 billion in reserves, with SharpLink leading the way. Now, SharpLink was the biggest one. They announced it and they told everyone that they were going to be doing this. It's a gaming company, and they do hold the largest amount. They have 280,000, but Ethereum Foundation, obviously they hold it. But take a look at these other companies: Pulse Chain, Bitmine, Coinbase, Golem Foundation, Bit Digital, Gnosis DAO, U.S. government, Lido DAO, BTCS, Ethereum Name Service, Frax Finance, and Arbitrum, all holding massive amounts of Ethereum as their Ethereum treasuries for their company. Now, SharpLink is really the only company outside of crypto, though. So who else is going to be coming into this game in the future? We know that Ethereum is a base layer for Web3. All right, guys. Time to go ahead and get to one of the main topics that we were talking about right here. So just in, XRP retains the #1 spot for 24-hour trading volume in South Korea. That's right, XRP taking out everyone else. Ethereum, Bitcoin, all of them. XRP recording over $500 million. And the reason this matters is South Korea is the crypto powerhouse known for driving massive price rallies. Remember the kimchi premium. This is the all-time high ever on XRP, as people call it, at $3.80, when that's not really the all-time high. $3.40 is the current all-time high. That $3.80 was on one exchange out of South Korea, and it was a mistake that it happened. But you keep on fighting that $3.80. But anyway, this surge right now shows XRP's growing popularity and could push prices higher, especially with the recent climb towards $3.30, $3.40. Are we going to break that $3.50? Well, for investors, this is a sign to watch XRP closer, and it's not just retail traders. Big players might be moving in too. Have you noticed XRP's crazy volume lately? Drop a comment with your thoughts down below on XRP price. Where is it headed? What is your prediction? And also in the intro, as you saw, Citibank, $2 trillion CFO announces crypto on and off ramps. Yes, this is very exciting, ladies and gentlemen. Big news. Citibank, the $2 trillion asset manager, just announced that they're rolling out on and off ramps. And this means that they're building a bridge for clients to easily move money between traditional banking and crypto markets. And the reason this matters is when a banking giant like Citi steps into crypto, it's a huge signal that mainstream adoption is here. On and off ramps make it easier for everyday people and institutions to buy and sell crypto, which could drive massive inflows. And XRP, built for fast cross-border payments, is perfectly positioned to benefit, especially with banks already using Ripple's tech. And this could be a game changer for XRP's price and utility. And as we talked about earlier with the Jerome Powell scenario, well, customers are not paying for tariffs. And we kind of went over this when we went over the Forex Factory News. Corporation margins are starting to expand, so foreigners are eating all the tariff costs. So what does this mean? Well, this is what we've been talking about for quite some time. Let's say that you are a company that runs here in the United States. You are basically a drop shipper. So you sell widgets. You buy your widgets from China. Let's say you buy $100,000 worth of widgets normally, and then you would pay the lower tariffs when they were coming here and coming here and coming here. Well, Trump imposes these new tariffs. So what you would do for your widget manufacturer, hey, widget company, China, I wanted to let you know I can no longer pay $100,000 for these items. But if you would like to continue doing business with me, I'm willing to pay $80,000 for them because I'm going to pay $20,000 in tariffs when they get here. And that's what's happening. So a lot of people said, oh, that will never happen, right? No one, all these manufacturers in China, they're not going to lower their prices, but it is happening. So the smart consumers of the United States that are buying these manufactured products from overseas are having to use some sales skills. They're having to go in and negotiate better pricing for themselves from their suppliers, and they are doing it. So congratulations to the United States business people. The consumer price index is below month after month. And that was the big news, obviously, that came out yesterday. PPI falls to 2.3, lower than expectations. Now, some massive news that did come out yesterday for Ripple as well. In a partnership with Control Alt and the Dubai Land Department, Ripple Custody will deliver scalable and secure storage for the Dubai Land Department's tokenized real estate title deeds, which have been issued on the XRP ledger, enabling fractional ownership, transparency, and global access to Dubai's real estate market. And on top of that, Dubai just announced that you don't have to be a Dubai resident to now buy property in Dubai. So people don't have to go there, get their residency, and do all of that to be able to buy property there. They can now simply buy property. You can be an American that buys property in Dubai, and you can buy it through Ripple. So let's talk a little bit about this Genius Act bill. Take a listen to this.
Great to see you. Thanks for being here. Normally what we see is Democrats kind of blocking some of these bills that the Republicans have wanted to get through. But in this case, you and a couple of your Democratic congressmen sent a letter to your colleagues suggesting that they actually vote for this bill because even though the bill's not perfect, you think it would be worse to have no progress made.
That's right, Becky. You know, we've been working on these bills in some form or another for years to finally bring some certainty to the marketplace, to protect consumers. So you've got two really good bills that are the result of lots of bipartisan work over the years, and it's time we actually get these done. It's not only good for the economy and making sure that America leads, but to finally protect consumers from a lot of these snake oil salesmen and other crypto that's out there that, you know, as you know, is not exactly on the up and up. It's finally time to actually have not only certainty from a regulatory perspective, but to have protections in place.
And what's the feedback you've gotten from your Democratic colleagues?
I mean, a lot of, listen, you've got two bills, right? The Genius Act, which we'll vote on first, as you mentioned, which defines stable coins, ensures that they're backed one-to-one by dollars or equivalents, and guarantees that in the world, the dollar remains king. That bill, I think you're going to see really strong bipartisan support for, and we've gotten very good feedback on that. The other bill, called the Clarity Act, will also get at least a few dozen, in my opinion, members on the Democratic side, in addition to a lot of Republicans. And that bill sets up the oversight, the market structure, right, from CFTC and the SEC, and says who's in charge of what, which has been missing from the space now for many years. You're seeing a lot more Democrats over the week understand it, come on board. You've got some people on the outside who want to make everything about Trump, as you brought up, as always an issue. I think the big thing I keep saying to my colleagues is, do you want to make sure that consumers are protected and that the Trump family coin, the meme coin, has some regulatory structure, has some oversight versus just the Wild West, which is what we have now? And if we do nothing, you'll just be right in the place where we are. There'll be absolutely no oversight, no protection for consumers, no certainty in the marketplace, and that's unacceptable. So I think you're going to see great movement here today, finally, after the Freedom Caucus, has spent the last days throwing tax on the road and trying to do what they do, which is just obstruct and cause problems. We're finally going to see some movement today.